What's up, everyone? Welcome to the November 23rd edition of the NBA Injury Report, brought to you by BetMGM. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. We have a huge 12-game NBA slate tonight. There's a lot of injury news to get to. There's a lot of moving pieces that we're going to talk about. But first, click the link in the description below. Sign up, make a deposit at BetMGM, and place $10 on any pregame World Cup money line. You'll receive $200 in free bets if any team scores a goal, and it doesn't even have to be a team from that game. Any team scores a goal, you get $200 in free bets. Click the link below. Get down your $10 on a pregame World Cup money line. Now, starting with the Indiana Pacers, Isaiah Jackson and Andrew Nembhard are both questionable. Neither of those sound like important pieces, but they could be potentially. Isaiah Jackson has been the straight backup to Miles Turner. So if he's out, it is likely that you see increased playing time from Turner. Nembhard, when he is active, has been starting. When he doesn't, it's been Naismith. But last game, we saw increased playing time for TJ McConnell with Nembhard out. I don't anticipate that necessarily being the case here. It involved going to some smaller lineups for the Pacers. Now they're playing a bigger Indiana front court, but it could open a combination of extra playing time for McConnell, Naismith, potentially Mathurin. So not necessarily a huge piece of news, but something to still keep an eye on. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Kyle Anderson and Jordan McLaughlin are both questionable. If McLaughlin's out, you probably get more playing time for D'Angelo Russell. If Anderson is out, we should see Naz Reid in the rotation. We could also see more minutes from Taurean Prince, who played 30 minutes last game. Neither of those are likely to be super useful on a 12-game slate, but if you really want to take a tournament flyer on those guys for cheap, you can do so if those two sit. For the Cavs, Kevin Love is questionable. He's missed their last couple of games, and we've seen increased playing time for Cedi Osman. Caris LeVert is out tonight as well. Dean Wade is expected back, so the playing time gets a little bit riskier, but you are still likely to get mid to upper 20s in minutes from Cedi Osman. You should still get plenty of playing time from Lamar Stevens, particularly if Love is out, but one way or the other. For the Toronto Raptors, Scottie Barnes and Delano Banton are questionable. This team is really difficult to talk about until we get a starting lineup and concrete news, but Gary Trent should be back. If Barnes is out, you probably see Juancho Hernan-Gomez in the starting lineup for 25, 26 minutes. Chris Boucher is expected back as well after missing their last game. He should get increased playing time if Barnes is out. There's some increased assist opportunities potentially for Fred VanVleet, maybe for Trent, maybe for Anunoby. Delano Banton also potentially could start if he's in, or potentially could come off the bench and be completely meaningless. So really tough to say what impact he has other than Toronto just being short another body if he's out. For the Boston Celtics, Jayson Tatum is questionable. This is obviously a big deal, but I think the biggest beneficiary is Jaylen Brown. Brown has a mid-30s usage rate without Tatum on the floor this year. I expect that we would see Derek White slide into the starting lineup. He's already a bit priced up from when I believe it was Marcus Smart was out recently, though, so wouldn't look like a glaring value, but certainly would look better if Tatum is out. Same goes for Horford, same goes for Smart. There's more opportunities to go around, but I think the primary beneficiary will be Jaylen Brown. For Miami, this team is a mess. Same thing we've seen recently. Jimmy Butler is out. Max Strus is out. Duncan Robinson is out. Tyler Herro is questionable. Dwayne Dedmon is questionable. And Gabe Vincent is questionable. If Herro, Dedmon, and Vincent play, Miami has 10 bodies. You know that guys like Tyler Herro, Kyle Lowry, Bam Adebayo are going to look better because Butler is out. If you start ruling out some of these questionable players, Miami's getting really shorthanded. So you're going to get the increased production for whoever is in, specifically Adebayo and Kyle Lowry, but you're also going to get increased playing time. If all three of Herro, Dedmon, and Vincent were to be ruled out, we would be right back to Miami having 7 players and just being a huge priority on this slate. On the other side of that game for Washington, Bradley Beal, Rui Hachimura, and Monte Morris are all questionable. They all partially went through shoot around today, whatever that means. If Beal is out, increased production for Kristaps Porzingis, increased production for Kyle Kuzma, potentially increased production for Monte Morris, even though we haven't really seen that this year. Potentially more playing time for Jordan Goodwin. We saw him play a bit alongside Morris when Beal was out earlier in the year. More playing time for Corey Kispert, for whatever that's worth. More solidified minutes for Denny Avdia. Potentially a little bit more playing time for Will Barton as well. If Morris is out, we should see more from Jordan Goodwin. If Rui is out, it probably helps to solidify Kyle Kuzma's minutes. It also probably opens the door for more Corey Kispert and or Will Barton. But Beal obviously is the really big piece here because he just opens up a lot of production as well. And for the San Antonio Spurs, Jakob Poeltl is questionable. We got Gorgui Dieng in the starting lineup in their last game, but Zach Collins is probable tonight. So if Poeltl's out, you're probably getting Collins or Dieng in the starting lineup. It could also be Charles Bassey, but based on what we saw last game, I expect it would either be Dieng or Zach Collins moving right back into the starting lineup. But either way, you're going to get some value at center if Jakob Poeltl is out. So to recap, the big pieces of injury news that we are currently waiting on: Isaiah Jackson and Andrew Nembhard questionable for the Pacers. Kyle Anderson and Jordan McLaughlin questionable for Minnesota. Kevin Love questionable for the Cavs. Scottie Barnes and Delano Banton both questionable for the Raptors. Jayson Tatum is questionable for the Celtics. Tyler Herro, Dwayne Dedmon, and Gabe Vincent are questionable for the Heat. Jimmy Butler, Max Strus, and Duncan Robinson have already been ruled out. Bradley Beal, Rui Hachimura, and Monte Morris are questionable for the Wizards, and Jakob Poeltl is questionable for the Spurs.